Welcome to SB Academy, and today we're going to learn how to Ollie. The Ollie is the most common way to jump your board and is used in most street skating tricks. For example, most spin tricks, flip tricks, and most grinds. What about pressure flips? Okay, some tricks don't require an Ollie, but I can't emphasize enough how important this trick is to skateboarding. If you want to get up a curb or over something that's in your way, the Ollie is a great trick to do that. The Ollie is simply where the board is struck into the floor so it pops up and is caught by the skater's feet. The feet can then direct the board or even flip and spin the board in midair. History lesson time! The Ollie was invented in the late 1970s by Alan Ollie Gelfand and was used to fly out of pools and air without grabbing the board. Rodney Mullen then debuted the flat ground Ollie in a competition and realised it could unlock way more tricks and has now become a fundamental of many different disciplines of skateboarding. What you need to be able to do this today, you need to be able to stand and ride your board comfortably and also have some flat ground to practice your moving Ollies. We're going to break this trick down into 3 simple steps. We'll then look at what potentially could go wrong and what to look out for in case you're struggling. I'm going to show you as many examples of the trick in this park behind me as possible, and then we're going to finish up with what this trick can link to, what kind of variations there are. So let's jump into learning how to Ollie. Now I always break down my tricks. I always break down the tricks I'm learning into 3 simple steps to help me focus on what I need to be able to land the trick and help me analyze what can be improved. And the 3 steps to think about when learning the Ollie are crouch, hop, and jump. So before we deep dive into each of these, let's quickly talk about your feet positioning. You want your front foot just behind the bolts. That's going to give you a bit of room to scrape your foot up the board as you jump. Now there is an optimum place to put your back foot on the tail, and generally, if you match up the curve of your foot to the curve of the tail, the ball of your foot should be exactly in the right place. This is really important because the ball of your foot is where you get all the power and control. So if your foot is too close to the bolts or is hanging off the tail, then you won't get maximum power or enough control. Now when trying the Ollie, try it standing still first, and once you master that, then try your Ollies moving. Step 1, crouch. To be able to jump well in any sport, you need to crouch and turn your body into a spring. And in skateboarding, that's no different. Once your feet are in the right place, you want to crouch gently to give your body some spring, and you also want to crouch for at least a second before releasing the Ollie. Preparation is so important, and the more preparation you give yourself, the better chance you have of landing the trick. Your head is your center of balance and needs to be between your feet over the board. If it's in the wrong position, it will make it really hard to get the strength you need to pop and to balance your landing. Now keep your shoulders straight and we'll get ready for the next step. Step 2, pop. Now that your body is ready to jump, you need to be able to get your board to stick with your feet as you jump. Because the deck is made of wood, it is bouncy, and with enough force it will bounce into the air like we see here. So your back foot will smack the tail quickly into the floor as your front foot starts to jump upwards. Both motions need to happen at the same time or the board won't fully come off the floor. Because your front foot is rising, your back foot will follow after the pop. If you struggle to get the pop, check out the next section for common issues that may come up. Step 3, jump. Your board, once popped, will want to rise into the air, but can only go as high as you raise your feet. So if you don't jump, the board will stay on the ground. So if everything's going correctly, you've crouched, you've popped the board, and now you are in the air. At this point, anything can be done. The options are unlimited. But the goal here is to keep the board under control and to land balanced. As your front foot rises, everyone says to slide your front foot up the board, which is true, but they really miss out one key piece of information. You've really got to jump forwards to be able to do that. If you try sliding your front foot up without jumping forwards, then all you're going to do is kick the board away. The board can potentially level out at the same height as your front wheels if you jump towards the nose. If you don't level out the board will end up going rockets, which is harder to land, lower, and doesn't look as good. And the last thing is to land balanced. And this requires two things: landing on the bolts and landing slightly crouched to absorb the landing. As you jump and slide your feet up the board, keep your eyes on the bolts and try to aim your feet to land on them. Here's a practice exercise you can do to kind of help you get ready for the Ollie. If you're struggling with balancing on the board, try to find something like dry grass or dirt or even carpet in your home to help you stop the board from rolling away and focus on the Ollie technique. Now let's look at what might go wrong and how to fix your technique. One problem might be you're crouching too quickly before the Ollie. If you don't give yourself enough time to prep the trick, then the body has a lot more to do in a shorter space of time. If you think about the 3 steps, by doing the first one early, you have less to focus on to complete the trick. Another problem is popping for too long. And what I mean by that is rather than quickly slapping the tail down into the floor, your foot presses the tail so it's held for maybe a split second longer than it needs to be. And what this does is it stops that bounce, and therefore the board can't come up into the air. So if that's happening, try to make that back foot motion quicker, so slapping the board into the floor. The last problem is landing off balance. I mentioned at the beginning that your head is your center of balance, and as you start the trick, your head should be above the board and between your feet. And this is the same for the landing. If your head is too far back, you will slip backwards. And if it's hanging over the board, then your body will jump off the board. So try to land with your head between your feet and over the board. So let's see how many Ollies I can do in this park behind me. Now that we know how to Ollie, let's look at a few variations that you can look forward to learning in the future. Now the way YouTube works, for people to find this video, the more people that like and subscribe and ring that bell and comment, the more likely this video will pop up for skaters who are looking for Ollie tutorials. So please, 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 if you can, like the video, subscribe, ring that bell. Also leave a comment for things that works really well for you, or if you're still struggling, please let me know in the comments, because then I can respond to you and give you advice on what to do next. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope it's helped, and I hope you found it fun, and I hope it's inspired you to go out and learn how to Ollie. I want to make content that you want to see, so please comment if you've got any ideas for a trick you'd like me to do a trick tip video on, or if you'd like to see me do videos of reviews of products, just let me know in the comments below. I have an Instagram if you want to see what tricks I'm currently working on, and a TikTok for super quick tutorials and funny skate videos. The links for those are in the description below. Now, one of the best parts of skateboarding is the community. No sport has a community like skateboarding. So if you see someone struggling, please offer to help them and let's keep building the best community of any sport. Keep learning, keep skating, and keep being kind. Peace.